Hey, you wonderful car count hackers. Thank you so much for taking a minute out of your day. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever looked at your competitors' advertising or thought about doing a postcard? Or maybe you've done a postcard and it just didn't work right for you? Well, on this video, I want to give you the 11 steps that you need to include in every postcard because it's important. You want to get the most out of that postcard. So this could get into be a little bit of a long video, but I'm going to walk you through this step by step. And in fact, there's no reason why you can't go out and develop a postcard for yourself, like immediately. Now, right now, you're going to say, well, yeah, but Matthew, I don't have the software. I can't do that, whatever. I'm not suggesting that you have to learn how to use the software. I'm telling you now, I use a pretty high-end piece of software known as CorelDRAW, and it has incredible control over font sizes and being able to stretch things and stuff like that. I'm not suggesting that you got to spend 6 months to learn that. You may hire somebody off of Fiverr or a local person that you have that does graphics. And you just want to be able to direct them and point them and say, listen, this is what you need to do, or here's what I want to add to the postcard. So look, let's jump into this right now and get started. Now, the other thing I'm going to tell you is I'm going to show you this format. And this is something that I like to use as a dirt cheap postcard to clean a mailing list. So many times I talk to shop owners and they've got a mailing list of 800, 900 different people. They want to mail them something. So I use these postcards in order to A, send them an offer, but B, being that it's the cheapest postcard out there at, I think current postage rates are 35 cents at USPS, you can in essence send this postcard out to verify your list, to clean your list, because let's face it, 10% of America moves every month. So this way, before you send them any more expensive mail, you're going to be able to clean your list and be sure that everything's working. So why don't we just jump into it right now? And you might want to grab a pad and pen because there's the 11 parts of a postcard, and then I'm going to show you exactly what they look like and how they get put together. So then let's jump right into it, okay? So the 11 parts of a postcard are, you want a strong, clear headline. Listen, this is something that I often see, and the big blunder is your name is not a headline. I'll show you everything. Just make notes of this. Your picture has to be included. Look, don't hide behind your business. People do business with other people, not with companies. So, you might be competing against a Jiffy Lube, a big box, a Walmart auto repair, or a car dealer or something. You've got to put your face on your company. I'll show you how all that works. You want to also include a logo and your return address. I see this mess up all the time. People don't include a return address because for that 35 cents at USPS on the smallest postcard rate, they're going to send you back, people that have moved. So you then have an option to A, pick up the phone and call that person and say, hey, I sent you something and you're no longer at this address, or at least delete them off your list so you don't mail them again. The next thing is you want to in some way include some customer reviews. I'm going to show you how to do that. And right now you're saying, yeah, but there's a lot of things to go on this postcard. Wait, there's another few to add. I'll show you everything. You want to also then create a subheadline that leads from the headline. Now up here, I'm going to link a video that I did on headlines, and I give you all the details and all the examples of different headlines that you can use to create a postcard or any advertisement. So let's keep going. You then have to include an offer, and you want a direct response offer. Get this for that. On this particular example, I'm going to show you a value offer. Now, if you're not sure what a value offer is, then what you want to do is go in the links below this video and sign up to my totally free training how to double your card count in 89 days without wasting any of your hard-earned dollars on that money-sucking advertising. I show you everything, and I take you step by step in that training course through a value offer. You're going to see one on this video anyways, but I show you everything and how to develop it in that training course. And by the way, it's free. So go ahead in the links. You will get immediate access and you can start like in 15 minutes. So let's keep going with the list. After your offer, you may want to include graphics or certifications. Now again, this is going to come up, based on who you're sending this to. And we'll talk about that once we get into the things. You want to include your phone number. I'm telling you, I've seen cards where the big guys, they don't include their phone number. Like, hello, I just want to pick up the phone and call you and say, are you busy on Tuesday afternoon or should I, do it on Thursday morning? No, you've got to include a phone number. And it's ideal if you include a tracking phone number where people can call you. You get a recording. You get to know how many people actually responded. You also want to include full contact information. Now, again, this depends on who you're sending this to, but you certainly want to have a website where people can, check you out, because let's face it, Google says some 96% of people who stop to see you have gone to your website first. So you're going to want to have full contact information. If you can take appointments online, be sure you include that. Even if it's an email address, include that as much as you're comfortable with. I'll show you what I'm talking about when we get into this. And you've got to have a strong call to action. Don't just leave it up to the person who's receiving the postcard or the Valpak or the advertising flyer, whatever you're doing. Don't just leave it up to them. You've got to tell them. You've got to, pick up the phone and call now, or visit abc.com and book your appointment. You've got to give them clear instruction on what to do. And the last part of this is urgency. And, I'm sure you see it. You'll go to a website to buy something and it'll say only so many left, or offer expires, or whatever. You've got to build some urgency into this, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So let's get into all the details. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you is, even if you don't do postcards, you might say, no, I do flyers. Maybe I do Valpaks. Whatever you're doing, you've got to include the same steps. The reason I'm putting this on a postcard is because I want to show you how dirt cheap you can get to actually contact your customers and mail them once a week, once every 2 weeks, at least once a month. But here's the whole way it's done. First of all, understand this. We're going to start the format based on an 8.5/11 sheet of paper. And if you divide that sheet of paper into 4 quadrants, you would wind up with a finished postcard size of 5.5 wide by 4.25 high. So that's pretty important to understand. We're really talking a small postcard. Remember, USPS postage rates, I believe it's the 4x6 is the maximum. It's 35 cents, and that gets you returned mail. Wrong addresses or people moved, it gets you your mail back. So this is a killer way to clean your list and put an offer out to your customers. So let's jump into it. Number one, we said we needed a strong headline. Now, what I've done is taken a postcard that I developed and used this with several different repair shops, but you'll see how all this fills in. But let's just have a look and watch along here. Now, I want to show you something. This box around the headline is called a Johnson box. So I know you're thinking it's just a box, but as we develop this card, I'm going to take it away and show you the importance of just a simple line. You'll also notice the little X's there. Typically, what I will do is code a card, so when a shop owner is using this list and he gets returned mail, he knows what it's all about. So let's keep going forward here. Logo. And yeah, I know you're looking at me saying, wow, that's small. Yeah, because it's not about your logo. But you were going to include that. And this is typically a card that I would be sending to existing customers. Next, we got to have your picture. Look, quit hiding behind your website. Quit hiding behind stock images that you find online, or maybe you buy them. Like, you've got a camera. Don't tell me you don't have a camera. If you got a phone, you got a camera. So get images of yourself, your service advisors, your staff, your technicians. But right now, when we're trying to connect, we want a picture of the person who's responsible for this business. The business has to have a name or a face and a name, and your title ideally, but you've got to step out and be the face of your business. Next, you want to include a return address. And I'm telling you, I see it all the time, no return address, because for a measly 35 cents, USPS is going to make an attempt and deliver this postcard or return, changed addresses to you. Next, we talked about a subheadline. So if you stop and read this, the headline on this postcard is "Stop Wasting Money on Auto Service." The subheadline is, "Why would you when you can get this? But only if you act fast." So this, you'll see how all this goes together here. I like to use arrows because I can steer your eye where I want you to look just by using a simple arrow. We'll get more into that in a couple of minutes, but let's finish off the front of the postcard. In the top right corner, we've left room for a postage stamp. And we're going to leave the right side of this postcard blank for addressing. Next, you want to include some simple reviews from your website. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you about this. And this I teach in my training course, How to Double Your Car Count in 89 Days. Links are down below in the description. But you take a review that you've received, and this could be a Google review, a Yelp review, someone left you a review on your website, and edit it down for the important stuff. Again, we've got a small footprint on this particular postcard, but we then highlight and underline the important parts. So, these are actual reviews from a shop owner, but the parts that are highlighted are, these guys are better. He's talking about taking his car to the dealership. These guys are the best. Warranty is truly hassle-free. Listen, these are the important highlights. You don't need all the parts of the review. Well, I had a brake problem and I took it in to see them and they could look. You don't need all that. Use the snippet that I'm not suggesting you make anything up. You're just taking the snippet of the review and whittling it down and using the parts that you need. So you've got that. So that's the front of the postcard, the way it would go out. Of course, on the right, we've got ample room for addressing. We've got a room for the postage stamp. And this postcard at this size goes for the USPS first-class postcard rate of, I believe it's 35 cents as I record this video. I want to show you these simple lines. If you're looking at that postcard, I mentioned earlier about the Johnson box, the square around the headlines and the arrow. So if I eliminate those, sure, it's fine, it's there, but automatically when the Johnson box appears and the arrow, I'm now directing your eye to go to the back of the card. So let's dig into this. So the back of the card is also going to include a headline or a subheadline that plays off the original headline. If you remember, the original headline was "Stop Wasting Money on Auto Service." So the subheadline is saying, "Shh, this is for customers only," okay? So obviously this is going to customers, and this is now setting your customer up with, taking possession of the fact that they are a customer. I talk about this all the time. When you go to clubs and you give them a special offer for club members only, those club members now feel the privilege of being able to use something and get something that no one else can. So that's what we're trying to do here with this headline for customers only. Again, we're going to throw a Johnson box around it. Next, we're going to include an offer. Now, a couple of things I need you to look at on this offer. Please disregard the price. It doesn't matter. I'm not suggesting that you should lower your price or increase your price or change your price at all. This is strictly for examples. But a couple of things that I want to draw your attention to. First of all, the offer has a dotted line around it. Why a dotted line? Because that's what the consumer just automatically associates with having a deal or a discount or a coupon. I mean, that screams coupon, and you want to include that. The other thing that is interesting that you might want to add to your headline, get your next oil change for just $21.97, is include the new car and warranty approved. Listen, there's car owners out there that just don't understand that. So you want to be sure that you're including that and reminding them that you're warranty approved and new car and warranty approved. It's an important part depending on the demographic of who you're sending this to. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of this, but this is typically what I would call a value offer, because we list all the services that you're doing anyways. When a car comes in for an oil change, you're doing a brake inspection. You're checking all the belts, hoses, connections, exterior lights, adjusting tire pressures, and possibly even a battery test. But what's important here is we have added the value of each of those services. So then at the bottom of that, we then show the customer, remember, don't make me think. I want to see this, and I want to see this quickly. It's a total value of $120.96, now only $21.97. That's great. You've now shown the delta between what this service is worth and what you're asking for. But don't stop there. Show them, do the math for them. So you'll see the second line that says you save $98.99 or 81.83%. Look, you have to drive the point home, and you can do it on a simple postcard like this if you just follow these steps. Next, you want to add your contact information. Now, that's on the bottom right, and you're going to notice I've added an arrow there because I want to take the reader's eye from the $21.97 down to the statement that says, call now before it's gone, and bring this card with you. So direct response is perfect. The customer shows up and says, I got this postcard. Now you know exactly where that customer come from. Include your phone number, your website. You may want to include email or an appointment online. Again, this can all be done. I'm just showing you one way. And I'm not saying that this is the absolute only way to do it, but I'm showing you that there's 11 components that we talked about at the beginning, and here's how they all lay out. Now, the last one is urgency. So how do you create urgency? Listen, I see so many postcards where somewhere in small 6-point text, like you can barely read it, it says offer valid for 30 days. No, I want urgency. Offer expires, and put the day, month, year. Put it right there. Like you've got, 7 days to get the offer. Put it right there because you need people to respond and act now. You don't get it by just throwing out an offer and saying, yeah, well, call me when you think you need it. No, you need this offer. Go ahead and respond now. And, you put in your disclaimers, like you reserve the right to limit quantities, no cash value, and all that. So have a look at all of this, and that's a postcard that works. Now, right now, I just removed the simple little arrow, and you'll see that it's the identical card, but using a simple arrow lets you direct the reader's eye from the headline to the price, right down to call before it's gone. It's an important part. You're building your call to action. And I've said it before, don't tell me that, oh, I did it, but I didn't include this, or I don't think I need to, or all that stuff. The total value of the marketing value of this card is far greater than the sum of the parts. So, as an example, I don't think I need that arrow. Don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't take anything away, but it provides, a direction for the reader's eye. In short, that's the front and back of a simple postcard that you can use almost immediately, because these print out your local Staples Business Center, anyone with a copy system or instant print system. Typically all the office supply stores can produce this and cut this. These are produced as called 4-up on an 8.5/11. This postcard mails for 35 cents US first class, and it's going to get return addresses to you. So if you've been following along, here's the components. Now, whether this is a flyer, a postcard, maybe you're doing a huge postcard, I just showed you how black on a color works extremely well. Do you want to get into full color print? That's entirely up to you. But understand, you need these 11 components. You need a strong, clear headline. You got to include your picture with a name and title. Who are you? Are you the fix-it-right technician? Are you the chief noise eliminator? It goes on and on. Have a little fun with that, but people will remember those titles. You want to, yes, include your logo. You want to include a return address. Now, in another video that I'm working on, where I've taken a big box stores, a national chain store, postcard, and I've ripped them in that video. It may not be published just yet, but I hammer them for not including a map. Well, should you include a map on your postcard? I'm telling you now, depends on who you're sending it to. Think about the context. If this is being sent to people who already know you, you may not need a map, and that just may take up space on the card. So think of the context that this is being used in. You also want to be sure you include customer reviews. You want to include subheadlines that lead to your offer. You want to be sure you have a strong, specific offer. You want any graphics and certifications, like, if you're AAA, if you're CSA approved, ASE approved, sorry about that. You want your phone number to be there. You want full contact information. You want to be sure these people know how to get a hold of you, and don't assume that everyone's just going to call you. They may want to go online. They may want to email you, but be sure all that contact information is there. Be sure you have a strong call to action, like pick up the phone and remind them, like, get this before it's gone, and create urgency. Only available for the next 72 hours, the next 3 days, whatever. You've got to inspire people to pick up the phone and book that job. So if you have any questions about this, please, in the comments down below, let me know. I personally respond to every one of the comments or posted. If you have questions about any of the specifics, leave that down below. If you think you want to get involved, or maybe you're struggling with things, in the links below, ask the Car Count Fixer, and that will get a message right into my inbox. We'll sit down, get on the phone. I'll answer all your questions one-on-one, specifically to what you're doing. And right after that, head over here and watch these other videos. YouTube says you probably want to see these. So take care. Talk real soon. It's Matthew, the Car Count Fixer. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day.